get started here very soon. Very soon we're gonna get started. I don't know what's going on here, but I guess the people that are gonna watch this later are gonna be a little upset because they're not gonna be able to see what you guys are seeing. So I guess that's gonna have to be it. But at least we're gonna have it recorded for them. So let me go back to my Chrome. Let me admit here. People are slowly pulling in. Rose, I'm gonna help. I Let me see how's my sound. Let me bring up the message here. Continuous chat. Why is continuous chat turned off? Let participants send messages. For some reason, it's not letting you guys send messages. It's my first time on Google Voice, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me, okay? So let's see here how we're looking on the Instagram. All right, let's do this. Oh, there you go. Messages. Yes, the sound is good. We have chat. Let's get it. Today's gonna be saucy. Today's gonna be, and I missed an entry. I missed an entry waiting for you guys. I should have done this at 8 p.m. Look at this entry that I missed. I'm gonna show you guys that are here early. Look at this entry here. We missed this entry right here on Bitcoin. Well, it's correcting now a little bit, 15 minute, but the break of this structure right here would have let us entry all the way up there. But long story short, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get to there a little bit later. For now, how we living? How we guys doing? Everything's ready. Stop this presentation for a little bit here until we get a few more people. Um, I gotta see where. Let me see here. We're gonna get started here in a few minutes, okay, guys? Guys, jump into the voice, the Google Voice. We're gonna be dropping hella sauce in the Google Voice. Yo, big time! You got the link. If you click on the link that I gave you guys, Osfun 37 Satin Stocks, pull up to the link. Let me see if I can drop the link. The link should be on my stories. So if you guys go backwards to the stories, you guys will see the links there. Let me see. All right, there you go. My boy Mike Lowe. Yo, Jack, what's goody? You here? I can see you. I can hear you. I can't hear you, but I can see you, Jack. There you go, Bree. Bree's in here. Stories. All right, so I got another person here. I don't know this thing. Gotta keep. Yo, Mike, what's up, my guy? My nigga here. What's up? What's up? I see you. I see you putting in the work. I see it. I see it. Let's get it. All right. Let me see here. We're gonna get started here in a few minutes, okay, guys? Just want to make sure I get a couple more people in here because there's a lot of people having difficulties just like me. I don't know why today was a little bit of an issue here because I was trying to get in and record at the same time to have it on my YouTube. So, you in? Some people having difficulty getting in the room. I don't know why. Yes. I've been dropping the link for days, and then people are just now asking for the link. It's crazy. I'm trying to get y'all paid, but it's hard to even get you in the room. Shit is wild. It's wild.
Miami stuff.
Bro,
It's Miami.
I'm telling you, bro. I really want to give the sauce. Otherwise, I'll be just
Uh,
enjoying my vacation. But anyhow, man, let's get this started, man. Listen, The people that show up early, they always get, you know what I'm saying? You get access to things that are a little bit better. It's like a buffet. You feel me? When you get to the buffet, if you get there a little late, you know what I'm saying? The food is all over the place. But if you're the first ones getting in there, you know what I'm saying? The things are always better. So listen, today we're gonna get together here and we're gonna talk about just leverage trading, right? It's gonna be just about crypto trading leveraged, right? So it's gonna be for those of you guys that were in the trappers and traders live a little while back. We started a little bit. We talked that we went actually all over the place. Talk about stocks, talk about trading charts and stuff. But today I'm gonna focus on just how the charts. How is it that I find these plays? I'm gonna share with you guys a few tools, right? I'm gonna share with you guys a few of my indicators, which indicators are lagging indicators, but everything together helps, right? So if you put it all together, it becomes helpful. Guys, if you're on the Instagram, you want to pull up to the Google Voice or the YouTube. The Google Voice is going to be the best one. YouTube, you're not going to be able to see too well. You want to pull up to the Google Voice because, yo, Chris, pull up to the Google Voice, bro. Get on your Google Voice and pull up because I'm gonna be sharing my screen. You won't be able to see here. I'll take some. I'll probably hopefully we'll find a play to get on live as well. But listen, today glad to see you live, my G. Hey, Shaday, man, pull up to the Google Meet, man. The Google Meet's gonna be better. I'm gonna be able to share my screen and stuff. So and I'm probably gonna shut off the live here on the Instagram very soon. So anyhow, so today we're just gonna run through it, right? I'm gonna run through how I look into in and outs, how I Rosa, do me a favor if you don't mind. If you can drop the link on my live on Instagram as a comment so people know that we're here in the Google Voice, I appreciate it. So anyhow, so today, right, we're gonna cut down all the fat and we're just gonna go straight into like the charts, how I look at the plays, how do I what things that I'm looking at, right, when I'm getting into these, what kind of size positions I'm working with, what entries and exits, what do I think about exits and exits, and at the end, towards the end of the live, I'm gonna actually show you live on Blowfin on a real account some of my exits, some of my entries, right, and I'm gonna show you how to get on a play. Hopefully, we'll find something here that we can get into and we'll get started, right? So I'm gonna share my screen here. Let me know if you guys are if when you guys can see my screen being shared. I'm gonna share the whole screen, and we're gonna start with this, right? So ideally, we what we want to talk about here today is crypto. It's mostly a trader, right? Because a lot of people want to trade and make money. Now that's one of the things, right? So every time you want to make money, right? There's somebody. The link for that is if you go back on my stories, it should be in my stories. If not, I dropped it. Check out. Rose is gonna pull up to the live right now. She's gonna drop the link, but I've been sending it everywhere. Is either on my stories or if you pull up to the YouTube. I'm trying to get in the Google because you're live. I can't get to your story. Oh, I see what you're saying, big time. I'm gonna send you guys both the link right now. Okay, hold on. I don't think Rosa was able to make it to the live. So guys, give me 1 second here, okay? Miami status, you know how it is. You know how it is. I'm trying here. All right, so let's see, big timer. Damn, sorry about that, guys. Just get a couple more people in here. Since they're already here, right? They made it. Let's go reward them. Big time. There you go. There's one more. Let me accept them in. Admit it. There's one, and then let me go to Shaddai. Actually, let me just put the link in the stories. Link. Almost there, guys. I promise this is probably gonna be one of the best lives I've ever done. I've been off for a little bit in Brazil traveling, so I've been wanting to actually do this for a little while. So I'm gonna make sure I give a lot of sauce for you guys to get in. So be patient. Have a little bit of patience, and we're gonna pay. It's gonna pay off. Okay, that's enough. All right, so let's get started here. Let me just turn this back on. All right, so no more Instagram. I'm gonna focus here 100%. Okay, whoever comes in, and if they don't come in, that ain't my problem. So let's go ahead and admit these people. All right, so Let me see. Let's go back to this. There it is. So what we're gonna do here today, for some of you guys that are new here, my name is Michael. They call me Trap. My friends call me Trap. I've been in the crypto space for putting my face out there since 2020. Been a trader. I also am a father. I am a human being just like everybody in this live, right? Regular guy, just looking for alternatives. And ideally, I wanted to always have an internet way of making money and being able to travel the world like I'm doing right now. I've been in Brazil for it's gonna be 2 months at the end of the month. And obviously, I'm not completely off. I'm still trading. I'm still running my Amazon business. I also am part owner of a marketing agency. So, any of you guys business owner, you need any type of marketing, let me know. Obviously, we're here to serve in any way I can. But the reason why I bring these lives together is to educate you guys on as much as I can for opportunities that usually will not find anywhere. But before you go there, you need to understand that money is not going to be easy, because like I was saying before, every time you get on one of these trades, there's somebody else on the other side of that trade that is also trying to make some money, right? But what there is to know is that if you're actually disciplined, you have some type of strategy, and then you work your way through getting better, working on your mindset and things like that, you will do better, right? But you need to have money to make money. And that's why I do these lives and these Zooms and educations, because sometimes people might not have the money, right? And sometimes there's a lot of mixed information in there. People telling you're going to make money overnight, which is not the case, right? So ideally, you want to have some type of technique, some type of tools that you use, some type of like ABC, right? You have to be able to have some type of plan, right? Because even Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So imagine the people that don't even have a plan, right? So you always should have a plan. And ideally, what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to share with you guys my plan, right? I'm going to share with you guys what is it that I do, how do I find these plays, how is it that I get in and out of them. So to start off, right? Crypto leverage perpetuals. So some people call it crypto futures, some people call it perpetuals, some people call it leverage trading crypto. It doesn't matter what you call. There's multiple platforms that you can do that. And what you're doing is pretty much you're betting on the crypto going up or down. But some people have only, let's say, $100, right? And so you can use what's called a leverage, right? So if you have $100 leverage and go with 10x, now you're trading with $1,000, right? So if it goes up 1%, you're actually making 10% on your $100. So that's a skill that needs time to grow, right? It's not something that you're gonna come in here and you're gonna make the money overnight. But if you do it consistently, like you use some of the things I'm gonna show you here tonight, then you can really make a few $100s off of this, depending on how much money you're putting in, right? But it's not something that you want to live off, right? It's not something that I don't do this for a living. Like I do many things, like I invest, I have a real business, like, that I actually buy and sell things. I provide services. I have a branding and revenue business where we provide automation and marketing and things like that. So, but this is definitely a supplemental income that you can use, right? So that you can supplement your day to day, right? So, who here wouldn't want to make an extra $300, $400, $500, even $1,000 a month, right? Everybody does. And this is the skill that I'm gonna actually show you here tonight, right? It's the skill that takes you to learn how to do leverage trading. I'm going to show you the platform, and there's actually a bonus for the people that are here today, right? You deposit some money, you do some trading there, and you end up they match you a little bit. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about that later. And it's the platform that we use is called Blowfin. Shout out Blowfin. They're actually the ones that are sponsoring the deposits, right? So we're an affiliate of Blowfin, and whenever we trade there, they provide, when you deposit some money, they provide a little money. I'll break that down later if some of you guys are interested. But long story short, these are some of the things that I'm looking at, right, when I'm trading, right? So ideally, you want to stop predicting and you want to operate from some type of plan, from some type of um, I call it, a method, right? Methodology, right? And so some of you guys that are here on the live, you want to go back to my stories and get into the Google Meets, because here you're not going to be able to see my screen. So I just have this live open so I can direct people there. But long story short, you want to have some type of plan. And one of the things is you want to manage your risk, right? A lot of people don't understand what that means is how much are you willing to lose, right? Because these things, like I said, whenever you're betting something, somebody's on the other side. So that's what we call the bears and the bulls, right? So if you're betting that something's going to go up, you're a bull. If you're betting that something's gonna go down, then you're a bear. And there's always a clash, right? However many more on each side wins, that's what the price goes. So think of it as an auction, right? Somebody's like, oh, I give you $2. The other guy's like, I give you $3, and it goes back and forth, and then somebody wins. But in this case, is people betting that the number's gonna go down, and people are betting that the number's gonna go up. And whenever they clash, the number stays sideways. So the charts can only do a few things, right? It can go up, it can go down, or it can go sideways. That's it. Your job is to guess how much up, how much down, if it's sideways, whatever it is. Your job when you're trading leverage and you're trading, perpetuals, that's what you're doing. You're literally guessing on what the price is gonna go, right? And if you have some skills, use some tools, look at a couple of things that I'm gonna show you here today, you might just do a little bit better than most people. Okay, and remember, if you don't have to do better than everybody, you just gotta do better than the person that you're trading against, right? So whoever's on the other side of that trade, taking that when we're going long, somebody's going short, you just gotta do better than that person. So always manage your risk, right? It's meaning like have a stop loss or a position loss. I'm gonna explain what that means later. Some people use a stop loss in a percentage. So like I go in with $500, I'm willing to lose 5%. So 10% would be 50. So I'm losing 25. Once it's 25, I'm out. I trade differently because I have a bigger portfolio. What I do is called a position, right? So instead of having a percentage, I actually have a number. So my position for me is either I risk $300 or $500 or $600, right? Let's make it easy. 300 and 600. When I say I'm going in half position, it's usually 300. If I go full position, it's 600, right? So you want to establish these things before you actually start trading, right? So that's one. That's the risk. That's managing your size of portfolio and knowing how much money you're sending into these trades. Now, emotion, right? Emotion has a really way of playing because when you're losing, you get really freaked out and you sell, right? And then when things are red, you sell, and then you buy red, and instead of buying red and selling green, you buy green and then you sell red because you think it's going to zero. But Bitcoin has been going to zero for 14 years, almost 12 years, right? So you want to understand that it's not going to zero, Wall Street is coming here. There's institutions coming in here, and the last thing that we're gonna have is this thing go to zero. So what you need to do is you need to learn this skill, right? You need to learn the skill that pays you, and it needs to be online, man. Because look, the AI is coming, blockchain's coming, digitalization of the world's coming. So I'm not saying to freak out, but your 9 to 5 job is likely not gonna be here for another in the next decade. So you have to start thinking of how you gonna approach this, right? So you want to make sure that you have some type of skill, and this is definitely one of them, that you can turn a little bit of money into a lot of money if you have the right skills, right? So execution without emotion. How do you execute without emotion? Very simple, right? It's not simple, it's not easy, but it's simple. It's you have to have a plan. You have to have an entry, you have to have an exit, you have to understand how much you're going to lose maximum, right? Because your brain psychologically, whenever you don't know what's going on, it tends to give you all types of bad scenarios. But if you take it to the worst case scenario, then you already know what's the worst. Now your emotions a little bit less, right? So understand the emotion. Now, pressing only asymmetric opportunities. So I don't trade leverage all the time. I trade leverage crypto and options when I see opportunities, right? So opportunities means the market is really going down or market is really going up. So I don't like to trade chop, right? Chop is not a good place you want to be. I like direction. So I'm going to show you guys in the charts what that look like, right? An upward direction, a downward direction. We're going to break that down in a chart for you so you can actually see it. Because I know for me, I'm a visual learner, right? And that's why I tell you guys come into to here instead of YouTube or any other place, because you can actually see what I'm doing. So waiting for high quality plays, right? High quality setup, cutting valid trades, right? Because not trading is also a trade, right? If you choose not to trade, is also a trade. So you need to understand that, and then you got to repeat that process over and over so that you can fix it, right? Because if you don't actually have something that you can fix, like if you don't have data that you can fix, then how do you know if what you're doing is correct or not? So that's why you need repetition, right? You need repetition, you need a discipline, you need a plan, and you need to execute it enough so that you can see what the results are, adjust it, and then get a little bit better, right? So these are some of the questions that I'm asking, right? Like, first of all, whenever you're trading stocks, you want to look at S&P 500 because it's called a correlation, right? Same thing with crypto. When you're trading crypto, you need to know where Bitcoin is going, because Bitcoin is a little bit more than half of the market. 60% of the market is Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes down, the market goes down. If the Bitcoin goes up, then the market goes up, right? So it has that correlation. And so you have to understand, whenever you're trading crypto perpetuals, you want to know where Bitcoin is. It weak? Is it going up? Is it going down? Because it tends to bring the market with it, right? How's the liquidity? If you guys, some of you guys don't know what liquidity is that every time, like I said, there's no money being made here. You know, there's no real money being made. So money is just exchanging hands, right? Fala aí, Stanley. So money is just exchanging hands. It's not. There's no new money in the market. So whenever you win, somebody else is losing, and that's what we call liquidity, right? Liquidity is money coming in and out of the market. And liquidity, usually there's a chart for that too, which is called M2. So you want to see the global liquidity, but that's not what you're looking at here. Here, liquidity, I'm going to show you later on Blofin, and you can even see it on CoinGlass, Binance. There's multiple places that you can go and see what liquidity. When you hear on the news, they're like, oh, a whole bunch of people got liquidated. That means that they lost their position because they were betting the wrong way, right? So you want to see that. And then invalidators means like something that is, if the move is going up but there's no volume, that is usually going to collapse. So that invalidates the play. So whenever I look at like a few things, because it's never one thing, everybody wants a magic bullet, right? Oh, what's the indicator that you use? Or, I'm going to make $1 million just with this indicator. It's never like that. And everybody in the internet now, oh, I got this AI robot that is going to change and it's going to trade for you and you're going to make $1 million. It's bullshit, right? It's not going to happen, right? Because if it was that easy, everybody would do it. Remember, you're trading against algorithms mostly. You're trading against smart people. You're trading against millionaires, billionaires. You're trading against all these people. So it's not going to be that simple, right? If it was simple, everybody would do it. So understand that it takes a few things that are going to help you do the play. And even then, you still can blow up the account. You still can make a mistake because it just, you can't control. This is an uncontrollable scenarios, right? So what you're doing is you're creating the best risk return. We call that RR, right? What's the RR? RR means like risk return. So if I'm risking $1, how much I'm risking $1 to make what? Because if I'm risking $1 to get $1, then it's no good, right? Then it's a 50-50 chance. I don't play that. So when I'm doing a risk, when I'm getting into a play, I'm trying to do at least 1-3, right? I'm risking $100 to make $300. Or I'm risking $300 to make $900, right? So keep that in mind when you're trading, okay? Does this make sense? Let me get a room check here. Make sure that everybody's still alive and kicking. All right. Yeah, I took it off, Rosa, from the IG because it was getting a little bit distracting for me here, and it's not fair for the people that are here. So that's fine. Appreciate you. So as we were talking about, right? What is perpetual futures contract? What that even means, right? So pretty much is, like I said, you're trading the future price of crypto. Okay, so you're betting that the coin is going to go higher or shorter or long or lower, right? Long means you're betting a long that it's going to go higher, and short you're betting that it's going to go lower. So this is actually the Blofin. This is where I trade, right? So I have a link here for you guys. If you sign up under my link and you deposit some money, you get some type of bonus from them. Now you don't have to sign up, but if you're gonna trade somewhere, this is a good place because first it's decent, they have a reputation, and you don't have to give them your name. So whatever money you make here, nobody knows, right? Feel me? So that's why I like it. They don't know my name. I gave them a phone number. The phone number, let's just say, is a Google Voice phone number. So I don't have to tell anybody or whatever money I make here. It's my money. So long story short, I trade on this platform. And a little bit later, towards the end, I'm going to show you what all these things mean, right? I'm going to show you guys what like what I'm looking at, kind of like this funding rates right here. Every 6 hours it changes, right? So you want to make sure you're looking at this too. There's a few things here you want to look at. But before we get distracted, let's go back to what really matters here. So these are some of the things that you want to learn, right? So long, short, right? There's some of the terms. So like initial margins, how much capital you're going in. The maintenance is the minimum equity that you need to keep it open. That's when you get liquidated. When you bet too much and you got too much leverage, you end up getting liquidated because your maintenance margin went too high, right? Mark price is the reference. It's like mark price is usually like when you get in, right? And then you got the index, the funding rate. That you don't really need to list to know all these things, but just as you get a little bit more trading, you want to start getting familiar with this, right? And then I have like a rule for each one of these slides. And the one here is like perps aren't dangerous because they move fast. They're dangerous when you don't understand exposure, margin, liquidation, and size. So meaning how much am I losing, how fast this thing is moving, how many X's I'm doing, because I told you this is leverage trading, right? You could do 1X or you can do 50X, or some places let you do 100X, right? If you're trading Forex, you know that you can do a high leverage. Guys, if you're on the Instagram, I suggest you go into the Google Voice so that you can actually see what I'm saying. Otherwise, you're just going to be floating here and it's not going to make too much sense. But if you want to get it, it's on my stories. Go back to the stories and you see it. So long story short, this is actually something that you want to keep in mind. So this here is the margin, right? So with $500, if you do a 2x leverage, now you're trading with $1,000. If you do 10x, now you have a $5,000 trade. But remember, the same way it goes up is the same as fast that it goes down. So that $500 can disappear like this, the higher the leverage. And I'm gonna show you a little bit later what that means, okay? Look, it says lower leverage, more liquidation distance, right? Because that means it's gonna be less. You're gonna make less as least fast, less fast, and you're also gonna trade with less money. If you do 10x, you're trading 5 bands, right? If you do 3x, you're trading with 1500. So keep that in mind, right? The same way that it gives you a bigger chunk. If it's going your way, fantastic. But if it's not, then it also goes the same way down fast. Now, the charting, I'm actually gonna bring up a chart here so you guys can see it, right? So this is the Bitcoin chart here, okay? So these are some of the things. And don't worry, you don't have to actually know, like like how to chart and stuff. I'm just gonna show you guys the basics here, so you guys can all understand, and you leave here knowing the basics of charting, so that you know, right, how you getting into a play, if it's a good play or not. So to start off, I usually go right in the weekly or monthly time frame. So here, when you see on the top here, these are the time frames, right? W means a week. That's 20 days, 7 days, day, 4 hour, 1 hour, and then you can go into the minutes, which you should go into the minutes, right? This is called top-down analysis, right? So we're gonna go from the top to the bottom, because whatever happens in a higher time frame makes is very strong against the lower time frame, right? And for something to happen on a higher time frame, it needs to happen over and over on that minute, then the 5 minute, then the 10 minute, then the 4 hour, then the 15, then the 1 hour, then the whole day, and then it turns into a week, and then a month turns into 6 months. So understand that. So now what we're looking here is each one of these candles right here are one day, okay? So I mean 1 week. I'm sorry, 1 week, 2 weeks. You see on the bottom the date changes. This is all. Each of these is one day. So what we do first is I usually get this bar right here and I go and I mark the top of this, right? So before I show you that, let me actually zoom in here to one of these candles so you guys can understand, okay? This candle right here is a red candle. So it opens on the top and it closes on the bottom. If it's a green candle, it opens on the bottom and then it closes on the top. The things that you see on top here, the little wicks, those the price went there, but it didn't close there, right? So those usually happen when they're trying to liquidate you or get you out of play. They usually tend a little bit of manipulation on this, and then they usually use that to get you in and out. But the actual candle didn't close there, and I'm gonna tell you later what happens when you do that. And actually, let me remove some of these indicators, because the indicators I'm gonna show you later how to work, what they mean and things like that, okay? So pretty much this is the Bitcoin weekly chart, okay? So when we go here, what I do is I usually mark the top. We call this the trap box, okay? What I'm showing you guys here is called the trap box. And what it is it tells you simply where price is going, because whenever I mark these, they become kind of like magnetic, right? So like this is the bottom right here, and then I usually get one in the middle. So what the one to get to the middle, you get 119, 55, and then you add them and you divide by 2. Now, if that's too much information for you, you don't have to do that. You can just use this tool right here and it does the same thing, and you don't have to do any calculation. But I usually tell that because some people prefer to know instead of just using a tool, but you can use a tool. So this tool right here, which is called a parallel channel. You go with the parallel channel, you mark the top. Remember, not the wick. You want to mark where the candle open or close, right? And then you click and go all the way to the bottom. Okay, when you do that, okay, it gives you that line. So it gives you the top, the bottom, and then the middle, all right? So That's what I call the trap box, because the top of that is where the resistance sits, and the bottom of that is where the support sits, right? So resistance, support, resistance, you understand those two, because that's gonna dictate how you get into a move, if you get in, if you don't get in. Now, if the actual asset is on the top of this middle line, it's bullish. If it's on the bottom, right, it could be bearish, right? You see here how it bounced right here? Look at this. Over here, it touched the bottom and it bounced. Then it went all the way to the top. Then it got rejected on this is the resistance. And then it found support right here again. Now it's likely going to go test around, it's not going to go to 87, because obviously not right now, because we're on the weekly, right? But the reason why I mark these on the weekly is so that when I go to the daily, when we trade in perpetuals, we actually look on the 4. We are on the 4 to mark these things, and then we go lower for entries. Usually we look at like at a 5 minute time frame. Okay, but I wanted to show you guys from another perspective, right? If you're trading if you're doing like a swing, or you're staying a little bit longer, then you start there. But because we're doing perpetual trading and we're looking for a play, yeah, bro, I'm doing this broadcasting. I told you, bro, I gave you the link. You're in the close friends. I dropped you the link. It's on my stories. I put it everywhere, bro. Come on, gang. Pull up, bro. It's in the voice, the Google Voice. Check my stories on the stories. So anyhow, so usually when we're trading perpetuals, we mark the 4 hour or the day. We start on the day and then go to the 4 hour. It depends on what you like, right? I don't like to put too many lines on my chart, because it starts to get a little bit confusing, right? So I do the least as possible. So if I'm day trading, right, if I'm looking for a perpetual, then I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go on the daily or the 4 hour, and then I'm gonna do exactly what I told you guys before. I'm gonna grab that line and I'm gonna mark the top, right? I'm gonna mark the closest bottom, which is around here, and then I'm gonna mark the middle, right? And I don't have to do the math. I don't have to use the trap line, because I kind of understand where those areas are. And the reason why I understand is because I see confluence here. Look, let me show you guys, right? So you guys can see what I'm seeing. So right here, what the hell? Hold on. All right, so this thing went crazy on me. Oh, it went to the 5 minute. I'm like, what the hell happened here? All right, so look, we're back to the 4 hours, right? So anyhow, so now that I marked these, now I know. Let me see here. So this is the daily, okay? So on the daily, we have been moving and we're looking to break out right here. So this here tells me that we're getting ready to break out. But on the 4 hour, right, it hasn't broken out yet, right? So on the 4 hour, it's looking to break out. So if it keeps happening on the lower time frame, then eventually it's gonna happen on the higher time frame, right? So if it happens on the 4 hour, on the 5, on the 5 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour, 4 hours, then eventually if it keeps happening, it will move forward, and it would happen on the actual on the higher time frame, right? Which is, admit it. All right, which in this case, right, has been happening on the 4. So eventually it's gonna happen on the daily, right? So you see how it's hugging the 4 hours here, and it's getting ready to burst out. Now we want to look at the volume, right? You see the volume down here. The RSI is a little overextended. These are also confluences that we call, right? So like you want to look at some of these things. You want to look at a few of them. So RSI is a good tool to look. Anything that is above 70, that means it's ran too much, right? So it's likely it's gonna come down. Doesn't have to, but it could be one more thing that you look at. And then if it's under 30, that means it's oversold. So that means it's usually gonna bounce back. The second thing, this is also an indicator down here that I use a lot, is the volume. Blue volume, okay. Yeah, green volume, better. Yellow volume, really good. And then red volume, even better, right? So the higher the volume, the more the stronger the move, right? So you want to make sure that you also pay attention to the volume, because volume tells a lot of what's going on with the actual play. So right now, I want to get into a Bitcoin play. Actually, we got in last night, right? If you're on the trap ecosystem on the close friends, I sent the call last night for us to get in, but I was so tired, and I was like, this thing got rejected a couple of times. I'm just gonna get out because I wanted to save capital. Still made a couple $100, but I could have made a little bit more because we have been on this move. So This is what you guys want to pay attention to, okay? So once you establish these lines, and remember, if you don't know where to put the lines, that's okay. You're gonna go back and you're gonna use the tool that I told you, which is this right here. It's called parallel, okay? The parallel one, you're just gonna mark as close to the top as possible. Remember where the candle closed, right here. Now where the wick go, and then you just bring it down to the closest red bar bottom, right? And the way you see that is like I told you, where does it interact, right? So look, this here and also interacted here. So that's a good area to be in. If you don't wanna do it this way, you can always mark the top, mark the bottom, and then you add them both and divide by two, and it gives you this line in the middle. Why are these important? Because like I told you, whenever it crosses this line, either gonna get rejected here in the middle, or you're gonna pass over it and go touch the top. It's always gonna do that, right? We call that manipulation, distribution, right? And it's usually happening because why? Right here in this area, a lot of people have their stops there. People are going long or short, and they fight, they fight, they fight. Whoever wins goes up or down. So here, right? They went higher, got rejected there. They didn't even touch the top. Then it started breaking down. This support here at 62 was not enough. So then he broke down some more and he came down. That created a new bottom here, right? But as soon as he came into this trap box, look what it did. Touched the middle, got rejected there. Came back. Where? Look at these. These things are like magnets, right? Because once they establish, they move like that. So you want to pay attention to these areas, right? And so it goes up and it got rejected here so many days. Look, each one of these candles 4 hours. So four, almost, like maybe 24 hours got rejected. Then what happened there? Down again, right? Then back up again to the middle of the box. Broke out of it, fake breakout, came down again. And now we're here on top. So we're finally on the top. We haven't been on top of this box since June 22nd, okay? Pay attention to these. So since June 22nd, we have been in this range and we have not gotten above the middle of the trap box. Okay, so we finally broke out. So that's why some people are like, oh my God, we're back and Bitcoin is gonna go higher. And we're not back yet. These are called relief bounces, right? So we're still in a bear. And how do I know that? Because if I go to the weekly, right, or even the monthly, it's still low. So it's been happening so good that even the weekly is seeing a bounce. So the past 3 weeks, so each one of these candles is a week. So yo, Cam, I'm in the Google Voice, bro. Pull up to the Google Voice. So yeah, so look, it happens so often. The past 3 weeks have been green. So because the past 3 weeks have been green, right, the weekly formation is showing a bounce. But look at the trap box there. You see it? The top of the trap box still hasn't broken on the weekly. So that means that we're not back yet. There's nothing back. This is a relief bounce, and there's a 66, around 65 to 66,000 area, depending on which chart you're looking at. There's going to be a strong resistance there, right? So we have to break that with volume. And if you look here on the bottom of the volume is not so well because we got blue volume, right? Man, disappeared. Hold on. We got blue volume down there. Blue volume is not good. We want yellow, we want green, we want red. We don't want blue. Blue is whatever, right? So it's not confirmed yet. But look, the weekly is looking good because the RSI is down there. But there's a lot of things you want to look at. And then when it all converges, that's when you want to take it to place. So I'm just giving you an overall play here. If you're going to the monthly, then we're still red. So this is a clear downtrend on the monthly, right? Now, that trap box is irrelevant. You see the trap box here is so small, it's irrelevant. Doesn't even matter. So if I needed to draw an arrow here, look at the arrow. Is that a bullish or bearish? That's bearish. We're going down, regardless of how you put it. We're going down, right? So that's why I tell you guys, these are all things that you want to understand before you actually start trading, right? Because you can't be trading a counter trend unless you're doing a scalp, which is what we're doing here. But I just wanted to give you a whole picture so you kind of like understand, right? Because I don't want you to think that Bitcoin's back and we're going to the moon again. That's not what's happening here. What's happening is that I'm telling you guys that we can trade these bounces, right? We can trade these bounces and be able to make money on them. And this here is not just talk. I actually can show you right here on my Bluefin, okay? I show you here. If you go here to the 4 hours, look at my entries, right? Here, I got in here. You see, B for buy at 59, and I sold up here at 63, made some money. I just went with the trend. I trapped it. I made the boxes when it broke out. I put some money in it, right? Yeah, Bitcoin is the best one, Rosa, because it's very liquid and it doesn't move as volatile. So you can get in with very little money and you can stay a while if you and make decent money. You don't have to day trade it. You can sit on it for a few days because the volatility is not that strong. So I'll show you guys here towards the end. We're gonna put a play in for Bitcoin anyways, whether it's good or not to get in because I want to show you guys manually. But look at these. I got in here, sold at the top, right? Then I waited patiently, right? Bought again here, and it went down a little bit, right? But then I waited and sold up here, right? And then it went down again. I sold the rest right here. Then I got in here too. I got 2 entries here, and guess where I sold? As you guys can see, I sold right at the top, right? I sold at the top right here, right? And now I'm waiting for another entry because usually when it taps this blue line is the 20-day EMA, and I'm gonna talk about some of these indicators so you guys can understand all of them. But I just wanted to show you here so that you guys can see it, right? This right here, look, I got these $500. I got it for free from as a credit, right, from Blowfin, and I already turned it into 2,500 because I already cashed out $1,000 from here, and I got 15. I left 1,500 here to trade and then to show you guys. But this is actually very possible, right? If you use some of the things that I'm showing you, you can make this money too. Nah, bro, I'm on the Voice. I'm on Google Voice and YouTube, bro. I have the link on my stories. If you go back a couple on my stories, you can see it. Pull up. You can see what I'm doing. Here is just so you know what I'm saying, so people know, because I got a couple people lost and stuff. But pull up to the Voice. You're gonna see it there, or you can go to my YouTube, Trapperversity. Right. So that's why, as I was showing you guys there, so you guys can see, like, like if you're patient, you can get into these plays and then you can trade them and make decent money, right? So now I'm gonna show you a couple of indicators that you want to use to help you. Okay. Oh, you can't hit the stories. I'm gonna shut it off so y'all can hit it. So my bad, guys. I got a couple of people still lost. I send the thing to everybody, but people still lost. It's cool. I don't mind. All right, so good. Yeah. So look, now, right? I always start. I usually have my charts actually look like this. Look, it's not too busy, but I have a lot of lines on them, right? So it's usually like this. I have a lot of stuff on it because I'm usually taking trades, so you will see it. But I cleaned this Bitcoin up so we can do it together. So we're gonna trade Bitcoin today, so you guys can understand. So the first indicator you want to pay attention to is the bottom one, right? So it's the volume. You don't have to use mine, but you need to use a volume. You need to understand what's the volume looking like. Is this for real? Is it a lot of people playing this, or is not enough people? And the volume is going to tell you a lot, right? So that's one that I use. And here you can see the name of the indicator, right? So this one is called volume analysis. If you just got to go to indicator, you click volume analysis and you're going to find it. The other one that I use is RSI. Like I told you, the RSI is good for you to understand because RSI tends to tell you, right, if the thing is ran too much or is not ran yet. So it's gonna change based on the time frame. So on the 4 hour, we're overextended like hell right now, right? So we are already on 74, right? The purple 74 and the yellow 66, right? So it's a little oversold. That doesn't mean it's gonna go down because it could still run some more, right? But let me see. It could still run some more, but right now it's oversold. My boy Cam in the building. So look, Cam is a real trader too. So that's one of my boys, yo. Met him on the road traveling through crypto events, and he's a real trader. He trade. He's not like all these fake ass people on the internet showing Lambos and stuff so they can sell you things. He trades trade. I appreciate you pulling up, gang. So look, this right here is the 4 hour, right? So the 4 hour is where we're gonna start using some of these things. So the volume is something you want to look at. The RSI, and I'm gonna give you these 3 indicators that I use as well that are really cool. So the first one I'm gonna put on is these lines right here. Don't get confused by them. I know these things get a little confusing, but all of you guys that are here on the live, you're gonna get access to the replay, so you can digest this and watch it again. And remember, you have access to me because I'm for the people. You ask me the question, I'm gonna put you on. I use this right here because some people use just the 20, some people use a 19, some people use the 7. Doesn't matter, right? Ideally, you want to use, there's some people use EMA, some people use SMA. Doesn't matter what you use. What you need to understand is what works for you. So these lines here, they tell you the average of the price, right? It's called a simple moving average. And what it does is calculates all the prices, and then it gives you an average, like in every 20 days, this is the average that price has been. The 50. The strongest one is the 200, which is the dark blue one. Whenever price goes under the 200, that's a problem. Like if we're under the 200, like we are right now, like it's a buy opportunity usually, right? Because look, even if you go here to the monthly, look at this to the monthly, right? This is the monthly. Look at Bitcoin. Every time Bitcoin has gone under the 200, right? Look at it, what happened after. Look at this. We went under the 200 here, then we spiked all the way up here, right? And if you go backwards, look, we went under the 200 right here. Then we did that all-time high again. Under the 200, all-time high. So understand that this is a great opportunity for entry. And even if you're not doing perpetual trading, even if you're not, like doing gambling, because that's what we're doing here. When you do perpetual, it's kind of like betting on sports. You get what I'm saying? So like, even if you're doing those, my bad. Even if you're doing trading, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the lines, right? Because they tell you how, if it's a good price or not. None of these things by itself tells enough of a story that is gonna make you get a perfect entry and exit, but they do together, they tell a good story, right? Usually when we touch these lines, we tend to bounce off of them, and then we create a little bit of, look at this, right? We bounced off of here, we bounce off of this, it just does a little bounce. So this is the easiest way for you to make some money, right? Whenever it's down here, you buy, sell up here. Down here, you buy, sell up there. Down here, right, as you guys can see, right, every time that we touch this line back here, we ran up, right? Touchdown, ran up. Touchdown, ran up. Touchdown, ran up. So this is a simple one. Buy on the bottom, sell on the top. And that's why leverage trading comes in handy, because it's little spurs that you can use and you make money because you're doing exactly what I just showed you. Look at this, right? Check it out. I bought on the bottom, sold on the top. Bought on the bottom here. It went down a little bit. I didn't sell because sometimes if you put enough money, you can hold through these drawdowns. And then I sold on top, right? Sold here, sold some position here, bought here, sold there, bought here again, sold on top. This is what you want to do, right? That's the game, right? You want to buy these bottoms and sell the tops. Now that one is cool. Now let me show you another one. I'm gonna show you one by one, and then I'll put them all together at the end, right? This is another one. This is a BOS, okay? It's a break of structure. Whenever you see these yellow lines, okay, this was actually the favor indicator from the last traders and trappers that I put together. Whenever you see these lines, that means that something has changed in the actual structure, right? That means that this yellow line here is taller than everything before. This yellow line here broke this green light here, so now we're going lower. So do they work 100% of the time? No, nothing is 100%, but they often tell you what's going to happen next, because it's something is broke. That's why it's called a BOS, right? It's a break of structure. It's a breaking the previous structure. So if it's breaking the previous structure and you analyze the structure, that structure is going to tell you it's going down or it's going up. And that's what you want to catch, right? So when you see 3 of them in a row right here, it's hard not to be like, hey, we need to get in this, because we're most likely going to go higher, right? Because the break of structures to the upside, right? So as you guys can see here, look, all 3 of these candles are higher than any of these candles before. And you can tell, because look, if you get the mark, look at this candle, the first one. There's nothing over it unless we go all the way back here, and that's June, right? That's 1 month ago, right? So that's a break of structure here. So that means that we just went higher than the previous month. So that's a bullish. That means our trend is turning, right? If you go on the higher time frame, the trend is down, but now the trend is up. So I really like that indicator because it tells me a lot of these stuff. Same here. Look, this trend right here broke, right? We're sideways distribution, and then now we got manipulation, boom, down, right? So this broke right here. That means if you would have caught this yellow candle, you could have gotten from here to here. And that's nice money, because look, if you get a measure tape and you measure, okay, this candle yellow broke, you're not going to get in there because maybe you don't know. But once you see that candle and you get in on the next action, from there here, that's 3%. If you're doing 10% leverage, you made 30%. If you're doing 50 leverage, you made 150%. So if you put $100, now you're out of there with, with 150, with another extra 50, $150. So those are the moves that you want to catch. Hold on, let me add somebody else here. So those are the moves that you actually want to catch, right? So these moves that you want to catch, because like I said, if you see this break of structure, look, if you would have caught this break of structure right here, right? This breaker structure right here is higher than this one. This one broke to the downside, right? Now this one here broke to the upside. So if you would have gotten in here and you would have came to all the way all we at right now, that's another 3%, right? So 3%, that's just if you're playing with your regular money. But if you're doing a 10x, that's 30%. If you're doing, a little bit higher, 20x, now you're 60%, right? So it doesn't take much for you to get these breaks. So that's the good thing. Yo, my boy Six in the building, bro. Now I'm feeling blessed over here. Yo, Six, what's popping, my G? Long time no see, man. That's another trader right there. Another crypto guy. He been traveling the road, you know what I'm saying? Showing the youngins how to get in and out of these things. So we know we tap in different countries, different cities together. And, these are people, real people, bro, that really like you and me that came from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? They made something happen. They out here using crypto. They're using NFTs. They're using all types of entrepreneurial things that are digital related to make a living, right? So this is the things that I'm trying to show you on these lives, right? I'm trying to give you these saws so you can understand. So that's another indicator that I use, the breakup structure. It's amazing. How do you find that? You're just gonna go to indicators on your trading view or your whatever platform. Usually trading view is the one that most people use, and then you're going to look for the BOS yellow candle. And remember, these indicators lag, right? So sometimes the move has already happened, but if you put them all together, the volume, the RSI, the BOS, the SMAs, right? Now you're getting better, and you're also making a better prediction, right? And then lastly, the one I'm gonna show you now, this was a game changer for me, right? Because this one right here tells me actually where is the biggest concentration of the money, right? Like where is it that things changed, right? Like bears and bulls are always fighting, right? That's how you seen those green bars. That's the bulls pushing the price up. The other ones, the bears, they're putting down. They call this supply and demand as well, right? Some people supply, right? If there's a supply, if supply, then that means things are going to go up. If it's a demand, then it goes down, right? So you got to understand those two, but you don't have to worry about that now. All you need to understand is that there are going to be places, right, where one is going to be stronger than the other. And this indicator right here, the VRVP, right, is going to tell you, right? This line right here that we at right now, that we crack right now is the strongest. That's where the most amount of volume is at, right? So when you're trading perpetuals, was good. When you're trading perpetuals, you want to pay attention to this line, right? So you see the volume here, right? And then in this area right here, around 63,900, if you had this indicator on, when it broke that line, you knew you get in. Like this is like one of those that, yeah, it's delayed, but trust me, that yellow line, it's like on the money when it breaks, because that's where the volume happened. That's where everybody agreed that was the price that needed to be there. The bears, and the bulls together, right? You see the lines is half the green and half red. That's because they agreed. At that point, they said, okay, it's fair. This is a place where we both agree with the prices. If it breaks to the top, that means it's gonna run up. Then you bet it's going up. If it breaks to the bottom, right, the bears win. That means you're gonna short it, right? If we would have done that here, you would have seen that line somewhere here. So this is a good one here too. Now, you put all those three together that I gave you. Now, actually, you got 5 indicators, right? So you got 5 indicators here, right? So you have this one here that is telling you where the money is going, where the break come from. I'm actually going to turn it off so it doesn't get really confusing, right? But these here is the ones that I always have on, right? I have the lines on, which is tells me the average price, right? So the red one is 20, then the orange is 50, then it's 100 and 200. 200 is obviously the strongest one that, like I said, if you're buying anything under the 200, whether stocks, crypto, you're buying at a good price because it tends to go up, and that's usually the line of the sand, right? That's usually when it cracks there, it's like all hell breaks loose and it's getting ready to buy up. So volume, RSI, SMA. I gave you breaker structure, and I gave you where the VR, which is, they call it like there's different names to it, but it's the POC, right? So it's the point I have it here. Hold on, I lost it.
Control. Point of control.
There you go, my guy. Point of control, right? So those things that I just showed you right there, right? It's those are gonna help you because they all together they tell you. Yo, do me a favor, mute it. So all those things together are gonna tell you. Let me see, who is it? Who's the offender? DL. I got you. Mute it. All right. So all those things together are gonna tell you where we're going, right? So now let's go ahead and take a little bit of of a breather here. I went over all these things that are written here, and later, if you guys want, I can send you this PowerPoint too. I build like a little website with my Claude so that I can have all these. So this is start with a clean chart, right? Don't put too many lines, all that. You looking like your shit is looking like spaghetti, like you're not doing it correct, right? All you need is support, resistance. Put the trap lines in there, add those indicators that I gave you, and that's gonna give you a decent picture, right? And then you wanna make sure that once you have that in, now you're gonna look into the next part, right? So like the structure, I already told you, is it bullish, is it bearish? You want to make sure you understand, is the market going down, is the market going up? And some of these indicators are going to help you, right? The breaker structure, the other one with the volume, the POC, they're going to tell you where is it, right? The BOS is the breaker structure. The MSS, market structure shift. So whenever the market shifting from downwards to the upwards, I already told you, if it happens in long enough in the 1 minute, then it breeds to the 5, then the 1 hour, then the 4 hours, then the daily, then the weekly, then the monthly, and then it becomes solid, right? Whatever happens in the monthly is stronger than whatever happens in the minute. That's why I tell people like, yo, I learned how to trade a little bit with Forex too. If you learn how to trade Forex, you can trade anything, because it's just, they trading down there in the 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. It's just noise, a lot of noise, because anything can change. And when you're trading leverage crypto, that's what you're trading. You're trading the low level, and a lot of things change. So you got to be a little bit smart, right? Now, I already told you the top-down analysis, right? That's what I told you. You start, if you're day trading, I usually start on the day, mark the lines there, then I go to the 4 line, I mark them there, then I go to the 1 hour, mark them there, and then I go to the 30, the 15, and then the entry, you're gonna get it from the 5. So let's go ahead and do that, because what we're doing is we're gonna get towards the play, and at the end we're gonna put a play together on Blowfin so you can see the whole thing. So I literally charge people hundreds of dollars for this, and I'm giving you guys the sauce for the free, because I want you to win, and you can have access to me. You can ask whatever questions. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's say right now I'm looking to get into a Bitcoin short. My dog 6P in the building. I can't even believe it. Listen, so this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'm looking to get into Bitcoin right now, right now. I'm not gonna force it, right? But I want to do it because you guys are on the live, so I want you to get all the steps, right? So all right, boom. I'm looking to get in there. Look at all these breakup structures. We had a downtrend, okay? So this is a bearish downtrend right here. But guess what, right? We had a breaker structure right here. So that means we're about to go up. I don't know how high we're going to go, but guess what? I don't need to know how high. I just need to know where the resistance, the next strongest resistance is. But since I'm looking at this chart right here, I already see a few things. I see that we're on the bottom, right? On the daily, we're on the bottom of the SMAs. And right now is the red one. The red one is the lowest one, right? So that's my 20 MA. Whenever we get a bounce off the 20 MA is a decent bounce. So we usually tend to go up and go retest the others. So what that means from what I'm looking here is boom. All right, I got a bounce right here on this one, and it's been holding, right? Perfect. And now I got to break a structure. What that means? That means if I draw a line from that area, I already went higher than all the reds that were there. You see it? So let me actually draw that in a rectangle. So whenever you guys see my purple rectangle, that means that is the area that is moving. And remember, you're not looking at where the price went. You want to know where open and close. Remember, I taught you that in the beginning. The candle only has 3 places: open, close, and then there's a price exploration. So right here on this red candle, the price wicked above the yellow line, right? But it didn't close there. And it wicked on the bottom too. We call this a hammer, right? So now these, we're going to mark them right here, and I'm going to show you with the rectangle that area. So I'm going to go down here, not the wick, just there, right? And look what happened, right? Look at that yellow candle. You see why it's a break of structure now? Does this make sense? It broke the downward structure. So now we're on an upward trend. And now I see the second candle, which is the second day we're green. We're actually green for 5 days now. But since we broke this entire level, damn, don't tell me that thing fell off. It did. Oh, you bitch ass. Damn, that thing cut me off, gang. Oh, man, bro. This is terrible. Fucking bitch. This shit was just getting good, dog. I'm still on YouTube for sure, so send everybody to YouTube. Man, that shit cut off, bro. I'm so upset right now. Didn't even tell me. It didn't even tell me it was cutting off. All right, so what I do? Do I start another meeting? Jeez, bro. This is terrible. I'm gonna have to go on YouTube. Nah, bro. This sucks. This really sucks, bro. That sucks. This sucks. All right. This sucks. Fucking pissed. Jeez, bro. This was terrible. Never again I'm using that shit. Unbelievable. This is terrible. Big ass. Son of a bitch. Unreal. Jeez. This thing just cut me off in the middle of nowhere, bro. I'm pissed. Jeez, that was whack, bruh. What? Damn, bro. That was terrible. All right, hopefully some people can get back in. Hopefully not. Let me see here. I got a whole bunch of meetings open. All right, we back. We back. We back. We back. Jeez, that shit caught me off. I'm never gonna use Google again. This is crazy.
You was trapping too.
Damn, I was on a heater, bro. So upset, bro. Jeez. All right, whatever, man. I'm going back to Zoom next one. All right, so anyhow, man, 6P back in the building. Victoria, let's get Victoria back in here. I was on a heater right now. It's cool. All right, so anyhow, man, let's get back to it. Whoever comes in little by little, we'll see. All right, so anyhow, so look now, right now, we seeing it, right? The trend broke. You know what I'm saying? Now this area right here broke, so we're seeing that there's a second candle right on the daily that is strong. So I like this is what I like to see. Now we go down to the 4 hour, right? So now on the 4 hour, you start seeing and you start looking again, right? Now here you want to see what's happening on the 4 hour, so that
We can't see the screen, bro.
yo, my bad. Let me share it, man. Good thing you said that. I'm getting a
Sure
little
could see you.
excited here.
You was zoned in. You
Damn, bro, I was on my shit. I was on flow state, ready to, you know what I'm saying? Google had to do it. That's why I gotta go back to Zoom again, man. I'm in Brazil, so I'm not even on my computer, so it's a little bit of like a little weak ass setup I got going on here. But it's okay. We're gonna make the best of it. It's cool. That's how we do. You know, we pivot. All right. So look, now, now that we're in the 4 hour, right? Now we're looking at a little bit on the intraday. Intraday means that what's happened through the day, right? So now you saw the daily, right? The second day was cracking above the rectangle. Now, if you go on the 4 hour, we got not only one, we got one, two, we got the first candle that broke the structure. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. So that means we on the road now, right? So now this is something I want to get into. So yesterday I put the trap onto this. When we started picking up right here, I said, hey, we're gonna get into this. You know, the next area that if it keeps going, right? How do I know? Is somewhere here on the weekly, right? So he wicked out to 66. So hey, we're gonna go to 66, and even if we pass there, we could do 67. And if it's decent condition, we go a little sideways, but we can even go as high as 70. The next area of like strong resistance on Bitcoin is around 69 to 72 area. So we trapping right now, right? So look, if you look at the 4 hour, you're already above all the SMAs, right? So look, the 20, the 50, all of them, the 200, we're above all of them. So now this territory here, you want to get a little bit more cautious. What I like to see here is I like to see what's called a break and retest, right? I want to see here something like, I want to see this thing go and touch this bottom right here and then bounce back up, right? But sometimes it doesn't do that. So I want to see it. What happens here now, right? And now it's kind of like looking into the future. If you want to see what's happening next, then you go lower, right? Now we go to the 1 hour. See, the 1 hour is already doing the sideways. That's the distribution. Now what's going to happen? Is it going to be a supply or demand? It means we're going to go down from there and go back into the box, right? And go retest the lower lines, or are we going to go here, touch the yellow line where we broke out from, and then get another bounce, right? So that's what we betting on now. And then you go down even more, right? So what I like to do is now, since I'm looking to get on a play with you guys, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna set a couple of little areas, right? So boom, I'm gonna get a trap line. I'm gonna create a trap box right here on that top where it got rejected, right? Remember, the wick does not, it counts because the price went there, but I want to mark where the price broke out from, right? Which is that break of structure initially. Let me give the arrow so you guys can see. I want to put that right there. That's my support, right? I broke out from there. That means that there's a lot of buyers and sellers in the area, and the bulls won. So they took the price up, but they only took it up to here. Over here, now the bears took over, right? So now the bears is like, yo, you're not going there, my guy. We're gonna bring you down. So look, they brought it down to the middle of the trap box. They couldn't bring it down from there. So that means that now that's our new. That's the right now in the short time frame. That's our support, right? It's around 66,220, right? And then we bounced off of there, right? Gave a couple of 2 hours green, then 2 hours red, 2 hours green, 2 hours red. So what's gonna happen now? We're gonna get another 2 hours green, or we're gonna break under the trap box, which is the little line, the middle line, right? The little dotted line, and then we're gonna go back to retest this yellow line first, and then the second one is this one. So if I was trading this right now, and I get in right here, what I'll do is something like this. I'll go here, I'll grab the short. I'm sorry, where is that? Where is it, bitch? Right here, short. The long position, right? So what I'll do is, let's say if I want to go long, I'll go here, and then I'll try to go, somewhere there to the top again, and then I'll put this line right here. My stop loss will be somewhere here in the where we started that break from, right? So this is kind of like not a good one. If I want to get in here, that doesn't look good because I'm risking 1% to make 0.5. That just doesn't make any sense. So in this case right here, if we continue this breakdown, what would make sense will be a short in this case, right? So we'll go short from here, and the same thing. We'll put our stop loss where it got right there. And usually what I do is I go a little lower, a little longer, because they wicked those people out that were here, and then they took their bread. So like now I'm putting that shit a little bit higher so that if they do that again, they're not gonna wick me out. And if I'm gonna short this, I'll short it back to even here somewhere. Now we're talking about a better play, right? Because now you're risking 0.9 to make a 0.1, and that's still no good. So at this point, I really don't want to get into this play because it doesn't make any sense right now. So I want to see what happens. In this case, I want to see what it does here, like in the next hour or so. Usually these moves happen a lot in the nighttime too, because a lot of people trade around this time. They got Asia up, they got London session, all these people on the other side of the world, they're trading. And so when you wake up, those people already destroyed the charts, right? So what I'm doing here is I want to watch it, right? And then if I want to go a little lower, remember you got to keep going and see what's happening in the lower time frame, what's happening down there. So if you go in the 30 minutes, same thing. The past 90 minutes, this candle right here hasn't closed yet, but the past hour and some change is being red, right? All right, let's go even lower, right? Let's go look at what's going on even lower. Let's go down to the 5 minutes, right? That's usually where we find an entry. Guess what? In the 5 minute, the bulls are already winning, right? The 5 winners, the bulls are already winning. So let's see. Okay, so like if I'm in the 5 minutes and it keeps happening, I like it. You know why? Because look, if I put this trap box here, because you can do trap box in any scenario. So I go to trap box on the top, okay, and I bring it down to where the red created a support right there, right? So the top guy rejected here, that's a resistance, came all the way to the bottom, that's a support. Resistance here, support there. How do I know? Yo, you couldn't break through here. And now it couldn't break through here. So that means we got to bounce. I don't know how strong that bounce is, right? Because right now it's fighting all the SMAs, right? The RSI looking pretty decent. There's not enough volume down here. So like the volume is whack, right? But I'm still going to get on display because I want to show you guys the whole thing, right? So guess what? I want to play this, right? So why I want to play this? Let's see. Because look, if I go here and I grab the short, the long, right? I think we're going to long because if it keeps happening in the 5, then it happens on the 10, then the 15, then the 30, then the hour, then the 4 hour, then the daily, right? So this is how it happens, right? And I like it because look, it went as low as here. Look at this. Look how manipulation works, okay? And remember, if you're trading on Blowfin, you want to be on the Blowfin chart. If you're trading on Coinbase, you want to be on the Coinbase chart. You want to be the closest as possible to the number, right? So here, look at the manipulation these motherfuckers do, right? So look, it closed here, but they wicked all the way down here so they can get everybody that got in on this breaker structure right here. Most people got in right here on this breaker structure, and they put their stop loss somewhere here, right? And look what these guys did. They went just as much so they can pull out the stop loss of the people that got in here. So if you got in here, let's say you got a long position and you came right here and you got in right here and you did like, you want to do a stop loss. So maybe you put it down here, right? And then you brought this all the way to the top right here. Okay, that's a nice play, right? Because now you're risking a 0.7 to get a 0.6. I mean, it's a 0.07, so it's not bad actually. That's a good rate return, so that's nice. But look what they did, bro. Sometimes they go with this wick right here so they can get all those people that were down here that put their stop loss down here. They grab all that money and then they use that money to go to the next leg up, which is what's happening right now, right? Now, maybe it won't stay, but this is how you got to analyze this, right? So if I'm getting into a play right now, which I am going to because I'm with you guys here and I want to show you the whole process, right? This is what I'm doing. I want to go here. I want to put the short here. I'm gonna put my short. I want to put it under this fucker, so I'm gonna put it on the trap line in the middle of the box, and then I'm gonna go high as this right here. So now it's a 0.2 to a 0.5. It's a 2 to 1. It's not great, right? But I can stay in this play. I can stay in this play a little longer because I told you before it went higher, and I'm thinking it could go higher to like 68 bands. So now if you're looking at that, that makes a little bit more sense. Because look, even if I go right here on the previous stop, let's go here, right? You see here? This thing's always in the way. All right, so look, if I go here, right? This is the top right here that it came. It wicked there. It didn't close there, but it wicked there. Let's say it goes there again. Okay, if it goes there again, that play right now is a 0.2 to a 0.7. Now it talks a little more. It's 2 to 1. It's not crazy, right? But remember, these are the 5-minute candles. So if you go long enough into this chart, you no, yeah, you don't got anything higher than that in the short time frame. So this is a little bit of a risky play, but like I said, I'm gonna get in it anyways because I'll get in with not too much leverage, and I'll get in with a decent position that they won't close me out unless Bitcoin goes to like 57,000. I'm gonna show you that, right? So right now, if I think that this is good, right, that this is gonna work out and this thing's gonna be bouncing here, right, and it's gonna continue to go because that's what it's doing on the 4 hour. The 4 hour is telling me that we're green. We break a structure, everything is beautiful, right? Okay, so I'm like, all right, I like this, right? So if I'm on the 4 hour and I think this is gonna do better, okay, let's get an entry, right? So how do I do that? Okay, I'm gonna go here on the 5-minute again, right? And my entry is gonna be where we at right now. So this is about, it's about 66,400, but I'm gonna go to Blowfin and I'm gonna see where we at now. Right, so if you see what I did here, this is what you want to do. Okay, look, I bought here on the bottom, right, 59, and I wrote it up here. If I would have bought here and held it, I would have made mad bread. But I don't do that because nothing is guaranteed, right? Things can turn around. There's Iran war, there's inflation, there's all types of stuff. So I rather just take snaps. I just take a little bit here, take a little bit there, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, and that's what makes the bag. Because I'm not greedy. I just want to make consistent money. Most people want to come in here and they want to make $1 million. Doesn't work like that, right? So you buy on the bottom, sell the top. Buy on the bottom. Here, I held it. It went down. I was like, oh, man, this thing going to go crazy. And then I sold on top again. Sold a little bit, buy here, sold there, right? So this is what you want to do. So now this is how we do it, right? So right now, let me see here. What the hell? Hold on, let me refresh this shit. All right, so this is how, there we go. This thing actually moved. I don't know what the fuck happened. But anyhow, this is what I'm going to do, okay? So now I'm going to get into a play. And the way I do it is this. If you want to do, most of the times, I want to do isolated, okay? Because isolated means that if you bet $100, once that's done, it's over. But if you do cross, you can stay longer because it touches your entire portfolio. But if you have a lot of bread in there, you can liquidate. And the market goes sideways, it can liquidate and take all your bread. So I suggest as a beginner, you go low leverage and you always do isolated, okay, instead of cross. If you have bread, right, then all the positions are under the same margin. So if one gets liquidated, it's like a cascade. Everything gets wiped out. And that's why a lot of people lost a lot of money on that October 10 loss, because some people were on the low leverage, but they were on cross margin. So one thing got liquidated and the other one thing too, and then everybody got liquidated and then one thing brought to another. But if it's isolated, right, now your risk is individual. Each position has its own risk. So if I raise right now, I'm going right now isolated, right? And then I usually do 10x, but I don't suggest you guys do 10x because it's a little bit higher. When you're starting, you want to go something like a 3x, okay? So like 3x is good. Look at this. You can do 150x. That's insane, right? It goes fast, up or down. If you're right, you're going to make a lot of bread right away. But if you're wrong, you're going to get smacked and you're going to lose all your bag. So like I suggest you start at 3. You feel me? I'm going to do this at 10. I'm gonna do this at 10 because I think that we're gonna go. I think that in the next week or so until we got into Sunday, I think we're gonna go touch 68, 70. So it still gives me a little bit of runway here to be in this right now. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is around 66,422. So let's look at here. Yeah, 66,380, right? So there's a little bit of difference because this is not the Blowfin chart, right? But so the Blowfin chart is this one right here. So right now, if you look at Blowfin, it's 66,389, right? So the people that are market buyers, they're paying 66,389, and the sellers are paying 66,388. That's pretty close. Here, what you see here is the people that are buying and selling, what positions they're selling, and how much they're selling and buying. On the bottom is going to show you your positions that you have open, your order history down here, and everything else. Now, you see the blue line? We bounced off that blue line, and I sold up there. Usually, I would wait for this to resolve, right? The sideways action to resolve, to see if we're going down to retouch the blue again, or if we're going to go up. But since I'm here with you, I want to take you through the whole process. I'm just going to put it in, right? So right now, I'm going to put it in for 66,389. I'm going to do a long. Okay, I'm going to do 66,389. And then you can put a take profit and stop loss right here, okay? So if you go here and you go, this is how much I want to take money. I want to take money out of 69,000 or something like that. And then your stop loss. Some people do percentage. Some people do. I do a lot, right? So I'm gonna bet $300 right here. So I'm either gonna lose 300 or I'm gonna make 600. You feel me? 2 to 1. I don't play with that percentage stuff. I don't like getting wicked out and then things go running on me. So when I go into a play, I already know how much I'm losing, and I'm riding that shit. You feel me? So like, I don't do this. I don't do this stop loss and none of this right here. I do my shit manual. I don't suggest this because this is not for beginners, right? Like you wanna know how much money you're losing. You want to know how you get it in. You want to go on the low leverage, on the 3X. You feel me? So I don't suggest that. But I don't do that, right? So this is what I'm going to do. And then how much money I'm going to put in. If you go 100%, that's going to put my entire $1,500 that I got here, right? So I'm not going to do that either, right? Because I'm not even supposed to be taking this play. I'm doing it because I want to make sure that I'm showing you guys the whole thing. No stop loss, gang. Damn, bro. You're teaching these people the wrong way. 6, what's up? Now, listen. You know what I'm saying? It depends. Like, I have a stop loss. I'm willing to lose the $300 that I'm putting in, right? So like I'm putting 20% of 1,500. So 10%, 150. That's 300. That's a half position because I'm not convinced that this is gonna blow. That is gonna go. If I am convinced, I'll throw 600, or even I throw a position and a half. I'll throw $1,000, right? But I'm not gonna do that right now. So 20% is what I want. It's 389. Let's see if 389 is still good. All right, 390 now. So it's not good anymore. So let's do. I would already made $2, but okay, 20%, and now I go buy the long, right? I'm over here on isolator, 10x, blah, blah, blah. If your stop loss and the other thing here, the best thing to do is to have a stop loss. Yeah, of course. You want to do that because, like, you want to know how much you're losing, right? So I have a stop loss. My stop loss is $300. You know what I'm saying? That's my stop loss. So buy long, right? Here's going to tell you the price limit, the last price, the amount of money you're betting. And here, I won't get liquidated until it goes to 59. So either I make $600 on this play, or I get liquidated. I lose $300, but Bitcoin has to go down $6,000 before I do that. And meanwhile, as it goes down, I can always cash out, right? If I'm, because this is another thing. You can't just set and forget this shit. You gotta be here. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be checking. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be on point. You know what I'm saying? It's not that type of bread. It's not that type of plate that you just leave it here. So I'm betting $300. I'm either going to lose $300 or I'm going to make 600. Either we're going to go to 70 and I'm going to make some bread, or it's going to go down to 59,000, 60,000 and I'm going to lose some bread. 300. That's the max because it's isolated. Okay. Now I'm going to cancel this and go a little lower because this shit dropped. So it's 337 right now. So, oh, that's nice. I need to get in right now. 66, 337, 338. I'm going to put, you can take a little bread. 338. It's cool. And I'm going to do a long, confirm. Boom, and this should show up on my open buys already. I don't know why that shit ended up there. All right, so look, it should have filled me already because I put it a little higher, right? So now it's going to show down here, okay? So I almost paid a little more, and I would have been red, more red now. But look, now you can see it, right? So this is where I'm at right now with my trade. Let me move this so you guys can see it. So right now, right, I'm in right here. And if you look down here, look, I got in at 66,330 mark price, 66,323. That's where we at right now. My liquidation price is 59,900. Right now, I have 315 bucks on this play. That's a half position. How do I get to that position? Well, if I'm trading with a $25,000 portfolio, 10% of that is 2,500. 5% of that is 1,250, right? And then half of that is 600. That's a full position. Why is that a full position? Because you shouldn't risk no more than 1 to 3% on any type of risky plays, right? If you're doing this type of plays, options, leverage, forex, you should not be risking more than 1 to 2%, max 3 to 5 like busting like crazy. You're convicted that you're gonna print bread. Okay, go 5%. You don't want to do, if your portfolio is $1,000, you don't want to do a $300 on a play. You know what I'm saying? Because you do 3 wrong plays and you're done. You're out of the game. Ain't no more game for you, right? So you gotta play in your level. You feel me? You can't be playing with the ballers if you only got $1,000. So understand that, right? Now, this is the final stuff right here. I got in, now I wait. Now I'm either gonna make some money in when Bitcoin hits 70 or 72 or 69, whatever it goes up, or I'm gonna ride this bitch down all the way to 59,919. So I won't lose my 300 bucks until it hits that number. Obviously, the 300 keeps going down, 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 down. But remember, I'm trading with leverage, so I'm not trading 300 bucks. I'm trading $3,000 with 300 bucks, and that's the game that nobody sees about this. I'm trading with $3,000, but I only have 300 invested. That's the beauty about this. Now, obviously, there's the risk. If it goes down, I lose 300, but I didn't lose 3 grand. You feel me? Like, that's what I like about this, because you can turn a little bit of money into a lot of money. And a lot of the followers that follow me, they don't have that much bread. They're beginners. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is this, bro. You got to understand this is a rule. When you don't have bread, you got to take more risk. You got to take more risk. So if you have $1,000 only, you need to take 2, 3, 4, 5, $200 shots to try to make some bread until you get to 5 bands, right? But if you have 5 bands, you don't want to do that no more. Now you want to take less risks and you want to take less plays, right? And then you start with what I told you, the risk return, how much money I'm betting, how much money I'm losing, right? But that's pretty much how it works. And look, even after the thing is open, you can drop your take profit here, right? And your stop loss as well. So you can do a trailing stop as well, where you set multiple places where you want to take profits, but you want to watch this. So we took this play live, and I'm leaving this bitch on. So y'all watch my stories the next day or two, and we're gonna see where this goes, right? But pretty much that's what it is. I gave you the entire sauce from the beginning to the end, what indicators, all that stuff that you need to know, so that you can take this type of plays too. Right now, there's $2,780 in play right now, but I only put in 315. That's my margin, right? So I'm trading a 0.4 Bitcoin right now, but I only put 300 bucks, right? So this is the beauty about trading this type of plays, right? Options, leverage, and things like that, because they give you more than what you actually have to trade with, right? So that was it, man. That was the end of the live. I'm sorry about all the mishappening. You know what I'm saying? I was on the flow the first time I got cut off. But I hope I was able to explain this. And if you got questions, I know some people don't like to ask questions in public, but hit my DMs up. I'm gonna have this up on YouTube, so if you guys want the link, let me know. You can watch it again. You can ask me some questions. Let's make some bread. What I'm finishing up with, it doesn't matter if you don't trade leverage. You need to start buying Bitcoin, Ethereum. You need to start doing these things, because I'm telling you, man, we're not gonna stay down here forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, by this time next year, you're gonna wish that you bought some of these prices. 6P, no. Cam knows. We've been here before. We don't listen to the news.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got a Blowfin partnership?
Yeah, bro, I do. I'm gonna send you the link.
I got one. I'm just saying, let these people know. Man, plug your shit in. Bro.
I don't be that type. No, yeah, but I did.
For
Actually,
those that don't know, the reason why I asked that is because it is when you trade with a lot of platforms, you're going to get hit with the fees. You got fees.
Exactly.
Like, that you cannot stop that.
Yeah.
Especially in America.
Facts.
But certain platforms, especially decentralized, they reach out to certain individuals and they be like, okay, do you want to do a partnership? All it is, man, is the man you getting a deal, the man getting a kickback. Everybody gonna get a kickback.
Facts.
That's just what it is. It's like, But so you choose to give it to them people, or you choose to give the homie a little bit and the rest of them people. It's
Facts.
just you're gonna have to pay the fees anyway. It's not fees added to your account. No, that's just how it works when it trades.
You got it, bro. So
But yeah,
that.
man, give them your link, you know, man, so they
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
sign up. And, you know,
That's what I was about to tell him.
how you
Actually,
doing, bro?
nah, yeah, bro. So what happens is Blowfin actually put together like a deposit match for them. So if you put $100, you get $15 all the way to 300. So you can make up to 300 in credits, right? You're not gonna be able to cash that money out. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna be able to cash that money out, but you're gonna be able to. I'm gonna send it to you now, big time. I'm gonna put it I'm gonna put it on the stories. The so I got a partnership with Blowfin where you deposit and they give you a little bit of bread so you can trade too. So $100 you get 15, and then depending on how much money you put, you can get up to $300 to trade. And yeah, so what he was trying to explain is that when you're in these platforms, you're gonna pay to trade, right? Whenever you get in a play, they take a little piece, $5, $6, depending on how much money you make. And now, if you got that link from somebody like me or from Six, every time you trade, instead of them getting six, we get a little bit of that six too. You get what I'm saying? Then adds up. And then there's the matches. There's all types of bonuses. They also have things like they have like little tournaments that you can participate and get paid on. So it's a really good platform. And kind of like I was saying in the beginning, is that there's no KYC. So like when you trade in this platform, like Blowfin and a few others, you actually whatever you trade there, nobody really knows who is trading because you literally just sign up with a phone number. And if you're really slick, then you're not even using your own phone number. You're using like a Google Voice or using an email that you sign up just for an email on a Kinko's somewhere on a prepaid phone somewhere, right? What I'm saying is that you can make the bread here. And I'm not saying you don't have to pay taxes, but I'm saying they don't know you're making the bread. You feel me? So that's why I like these platforms. And they don't last too long, but this is one of the most respected one. You know, Blowfin is a good one. You got Bing X does decent job too, but I think Mexi does it this and that. But I've been trading with Blowfin. I used to trade with another one called Bitonix, but those people are terrible. Like one time I got liquidated, lost like 5 bands in there with my Ethereum that I had been making bread on, because they didn't let me log in. They gave me a message saying that I was going to get liquidated, but they never let me log in to close my position. So that was a little crazy. So Blowfin reached out and we got this partnership going. So for you guys that want to trade and start trading, I'm actually going to match you. So if you go in there, whatever, if you put up to, obviously I'm not gonna throw money crazy here, but for up to $25, whatever you put in there, I'll match it for you, so you can get your feet wet, get a little trading there. So if you logged in and you sign in under my link, send me the code that you got, your wallet there, and I'll send you the $25 so you can trade too. And let's get this shit going, man. Because I'm telling you, man, you want to get into these things, you want to start learning these things because it's possible. There's a lot of cap out there. But there's people that are here making bread. I showed you those $500. I got it as a partnership. They gave me 500. I turned that into 15. I got another account that I turned a little bit more. So I'm not saying that you're gonna come here and make a bag right away. But I'm saying that if you're not getting in here and you're not trying, then you're never gonna learn. So you know what I'm saying? You gotta get the steps. I gave you all the steps today from A to Z. How to look at it, how to get in, what the size is, how much money you should spend, what you look at. I gave you the entire sauce. All you gotta do is put it together. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we got a community. You want to be part of the community? DM me, let me know. But that's what I have for you guys. I'm available. Six know, Cam knows we're here all the time. We answer questions. We outside in real life, you know what I'm saying? Doing this thing in real life, impacting communities. My boy Six is all into the kids, you know what I'm saying? Done mad events. He paid for many kids' bikes. I've seen him do this, you know what I'm saying? He helped out families like Cam, same thing. We travel around. We help people. We got communities. We're answering questions. So like, this is real. Like there's real life here and real trading, you know what I'm saying? This is something that you want to get involved in. And if you're not trading, at a minimum, you should be dollar cost averaging on like Bitcoin. You should be dollar cost averaging Ethereum or companies that are going to be in the future. Yo, Cam, you want to say a little something before we go?
I just appreciate the free game, man. I've been tapped in, and it was a lot of sauce on here, so I hope everybody was paying attention. Yeah, I've been trading leverage also, so it is a game changer. Like once you know what you're doing,
Facts.
so I'm just glad. Yeah, I'm glad you was able to get on here and just explain how powerful it is. But it's all about just really just learning and knowing what you're doing, just going through the process. So I appreciate you, man. Like everybody who don't know, like Trap is a real genuine person. So just know that you listen to a very honest man. It is like how you said, a lot of cap in this space. So you just got to be careful who you listen to. And Trap is one of the ones that I really admire the way he moves. So I'm thankful for Trap, man. We appreciate you for sure. Be
Yeah.
trapping.
Yes, sir. We stay trapping. All right, man. I appreciate you, bro. For real, for real. And Cam on another level, he be trading meme coins, which is even crazier. You know, he trades ETH and Solana and things like that, but he be in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? That's player versus player on some crazy stuff. I don't really play down there too much because, like I said, it's kind of like Forex. There's a lot of like very fast in and out, a lot of movement. You got to be really tapped in with Twitter, know what's going on, what's popping, what's new. You got to know a lot of that stuff. So I kind of like stay trading the majors mostly, Bitcoin. I trade Solana, I trade Ethereum. I'll trade some Sui and Tau as well because those are really strong coins that I want to hold anyways. So I'm hoping to catch one of these leverages in the bottom. Like it's hard to time the bottom, but the bottom is somewhere here. And if you catch one of these leverage plays, like you know what I'm saying, and on the bottom and you ride it up to like back to normal, like you can literally turn like $500 into like 50 bands, 10 bands. I'm not saying that's gonna happen all the time, but I'm saying that if you're not playing the lottery ticket, how you can win the Powerball? You feel me? Like it ain't never gonna happen if you're not down there. But I'm saying if you're playing down here and you catch a couple of these, it can really be life changing. What I do know is that this is a life changing skill that was not available when I was growing up. You feel me? When I was growing, I'm an OG. I'm 40. You feel me? Like when I was growing up, this wasn't even an option. So I'm out here in the internet trying to show all these young kids that, like, yo, this is a skill that you can learn. And the earlier you get in, the more money you put in, the more time you put in, the better you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I have for today, man. I appreciate you guys rocking with me for an hour and a half. We've been out here with the ups and downs. I'm sorry the shit fell down. The next time we're back in the Zoom, forget this. I have the whole thing on YouTube. So there's gonna be a closed link, so all the you guys that were here, you get access to it. You know what I'm saying? So hit me up, let me know, and I appreciate all you guys pulling up. Until then, forget what happened today. What you need to learn is what we learn here and apply. You know what I'm saying? Because knowledge is not power. It only is only power when it's applied. You feel me? So apply what you learn. Ask me questions, and let's get it. I'll see y'all next time. Yo, Six, I appreciate you. I seen Art Basel this year, man. We're gonna turn down.
Man, it is.
And my boy AK smoking again. I done see that. You're gonna get crazy. I'm gonna set up a VIP for us to hang out this year. You're gonna see. We're gonna have a little place only us pull up. You heard? I see that, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Peace. Damn, bro. That shit was trash. Oh, man. The YouTube's still on. Man, this thing fell off, bro. I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. I was on a roll, bro. That was good, though. I appreciate you, brother. I just seen the YouTube here. My crib. Man, that was good, though. Can you post the link, the lines you see, Mark? Yeah, bro, listen. For you guys that were here, bro, you just DM me. I'm going to have the link. This YouTube is not going to be public. I'm going to have it private, but you hit me up on Trappiversity, TikTok, Instagram, wherever. Just hit me up. Be like, yo, I was on your live. You know what I'm saying? Like, fell off, blah, blah, blah. Let me get on it. And then I'm actually gonna give away a couple of the close friends too. So I'm gonna pick some of you guys that were on the live and tag somebody, and I'm gonna give away some entries to the close friends in my community, so you guys can learn a little bit more and rock with us for a little bit and see how it really feels. You know what I'm saying? But like I was saying, this is real. You know what I'm saying? Like we really do this, and this is a skill that you can learn that can take you, you know what I'm saying, places. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. I'm trying to do another one of these before I leave this vacation, and trying to get these a little bit more often going so I can start getting more people into this and getting a little bit